Hey guys, this week we're going to try and do things online a little bit more so that I can see how you're doing as you're doing it. So we're doing Dream Assessment number 2, and as you can see, day 1A, we're going to be doing solving algebraic fractions. Now this first slide here gives you an example of really good working, which was the inspiration for this topic. This is question 22 of the January 2016 paper 4. And as you can see, it's a bit dark, so the quality of your pictures is really important when you're posting things, but we can still sort of see it, and the working is correct, so it really is a good example for us to follow when you're doing the examples I've set here for you. Let's just talk through it just to make sure that everybody understands what's expected. So we've got an algebraic fraction here, that is an equation with fractions in them, and what we need to do to get rid of these fractions, because it's very difficult to work with fractions, is just to multiply everything through by the denominator. Now there's two fractions here, so I need to multiply everything through by both of those denominators. And this person did a really good job of showing you what she's done. She's multiplied everything through by x minus 2 and x plus 1, which were the original denominators. So on the top of this fraction, she's got x minus 2 times x plus 1. And on the top of this fraction, she's also got x minus 2 times x plus 1. So she's multiplying both of them by x minus 2 and x plus 1. Also on the other side, she did not forget to multiply by x minus 2 and x plus 1. So everything in this equation was multiplied by both of the denominators of both of the fractions in this question. Okay, the next step, she showed that she's cancelled out top and bottom. She saw that this is 6 times x minus 2 times x plus 1 and divided by x minus 2. If you multiply by x minus 2 and divide by x minus 2, that will cancel out. Multiplying by a value, dividing by that value leaves you with just 1, and any value multiplied or divided by 1 doesn't change in value. So she's crossed those out. Those are canceled down, and she just has x plus 1 here. 6 times x plus 1, sorry. Okay, same thing with this one. She saw that when she multiplied the top by x minus 2 and x plus 1, and then she has that over x plus 1, there's a common factor there. She's crossed those out because dividing and multiplying by x plus 1 is just the same as multiplying by or dividing by 1, which doesn't change the value. So she's just got 6 times x minus 2 there, sorry. Okay, and then her answer on the other side, what it's equal to, is just 1 times x minus 2 times x plus 1. And as we've been saying, multiplying by 1 does not change the value. So this is all nicely simplified here. Her next step was to do some expanding. She multiplied this through, so she did 6 times x and 6 times 1, gave her 6x plus 6, minus. Now this is the confusing bit here because the minus affects both terms. So she did minus 6 times x, gave us minus 6, and she did minus 6 times minus 2, gave positive 12. So it was really well done. She noticed that she even put a little arrow on it to show that it was minus, minus made that plus. Okay, and on the other side, she had a bracket times a bracket. So she expanded those brackets out. X times x gave the x squared. Then x times 1 gave the x. Then minus 2 times x gave the minus 2x. And minus 2 times the 1 gave the minus 2. That simplified. X and then minus 2x, the like terms in the middle, simplified to be minus x. And over here, she saw that she had 6x and minus 6x, so that together made 0. And the 6 plus the 12, and it's a good thing she wrote the plus rather than the minus because that's correct. 6 plus the 12 is 18. Now she's done something strange here with the crossing out of the 18s, but that's fine. We'll explain that in a second. So over here she's got that quadratic simplified. Here she's got 0 plus 18. Here she crossed out her 18 because she said she's going to minus that 18. So she took that 18 actually over to the other side. I would write that in a separate step. So I'd write 0 equals, and then we've got x squared minus x. And it's minus 20 now because it was minus 2 minus 18. So we got 0 equals x squared minus x minus 20. Next, we've got to simplify this or solve this quadratic. It is equal to 0, although she hasn't written it right here next to it. It is equal to 0 because it was 0 plus the 18 minus the 18. So here we got 0 equals x squared minus x minus 20. So factorizing that, I see that it multiplies to make a negative, so it's got to be a positive and a negative, but it adds to make a negative, so the bigger number is the negative. The numbers were 5 and 4, that multiplies to make 20, and 5, my negative 5 plus 4 makes negative 1. Okay, and now we've got bracket times bracket equals 0. So either this bracket is 0 or that bracket is 0. So if x minus 5 is 0, changing the sign, x must be positive 5, because positive 5 minus 5 would make 0. And in this bracket, if this bracket's equal to 0, x plus 4 equals 0, when x is negative 4, because negative 4 plus 4 would make 0. So it's just changing the signs. So that was all the working that you need in order to get down to these two answers. Very often, these these algebraic fraction equations end up with quadratics, so you need to have both answers. Okay, you've got 6 examples that you can work through here. And I've been trying really hard to try and type my answers here, and I'm finding it very difficult to write this as fractions. I know you can do it in Word, but then it's difficult to copy it over from Word. You can use what I've got down here, which is the snipping tool, and take a picture of your screen like I have here, and that can be copied over as a picture. This. Oops. Let me go over to my snipping screen again. And I'll do Control C to make it copy, and then I'll come over here and I'll do Control V. Oh, and it's come down here and I can put it in over there. Now this clearly is not the same equation. I could make it bigger. You see, it's a bit tricky. So I'm hoping we won't have too much trouble with it. I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, I can move it around. Now obviously this is not the questions that I've got here. I'm just showing you how you can use Word. If you go into Word and you go up to here, Insert, and here you can do equations. It lets you type things like this in there, okay? But I think what's going to be probably easiest for most of you is just to do your work on paper as you always do, and then just take a picture of it like we've done here. Make sure it's a nice clear picture and post it in, okay? If you need more than one slide, you can of course go over here and do Add Slide. You've got a blank slide and you can post your picture in and just number it so it goes along with these questions here. Okay, so you've got those 3 questions, these 3 more, and then we're going to go on to part B, which is solving linear inequalities. We're solving fractions, algebraic fractions, and now solving linear inequalities. Now, this is the inspiration for the topic, and this was far too familiar. You're just skipping out the question you don't know. Now, if this is supposed to be your inspiration for the topic, this is supposed to be showing you how to do it. This is how you should not be doing it. If there's something you don't know, you must ask. This is going in your assessment specifically for this reason. I see a lot of people skipping it out, and you should be able to do this. We have been over it, and if you don't remember, look in your theory book or ask. Okay, so here I've shown the working for you. This was the original question. 4x minus 7 is greater than 3, not equal to. Notice I never used equal signs. Even though I solve my inequalities in a very similar way to solving equations, I never use equal signs. I rearranged it, I moved my 7, I plussed it, 3 plus 7 is 10, I moved my 4, I divided, it was multiplied, I divided. So I have x and I have 2.5, but x is not 2.5. It is not equal to 2.5, it is greater than 2.5. If you write x equals 2.5, you will get 0 marks because it shows that you don't understand what an inequality means. X is bigger than 2.5. So x could have any value bigger than 2.5. It could be 3 or it could be 843. It could have any value greater than 2.5. It couldn't be equal to 2.5 because it's not underlined, but it's bigger than 2.5. Okay, hopefully that's clear. And you can go on to these examples. And these, as you can see, they're exactly the same format as examples from an exam. So go ahead through those ones. This is a lot easier to type. You see I can type in here 2 minus 2 is less than. Now it's difficult to find the less than sign on the computer, but it is there. X plus 2. Okay, now this is a combined inequality. So I need to write 2 separate inequalities here. First I'm going to do the first bit, so that's up until here. That's one inequality. And the other inequality I need to solve is x plus 2 is less than or equal to. Now, I don't actually have that button on my keyboard, but I'm just going to do a trick here. I'm going to write Control N to underline it. Okay, I could also have gone up here and just click there. Okay, I don't want to underline the rest of my stuff though, so I'm going to get rid of that underline. And 5. Oops. Go over here, get rid of that underline. And I've got there. Okay, so I've got two different inequalities that I need to solve here. I'm going to put this in a different color so I can clearly see that this is not the question. This is my answer. So I'll go up here, blue. Okay. And now, because I'm working out two separate things, it might be best if I do a text box to do one of those things, and I'll do this one just directly on the page. So I'll go ahead and do this one directly on the page. If -2 is less than x plus 2, then -2, I'll move the 2 from this side so I can have my x on its own. It was plus, so I'll minus it. -2 is less than x. Okay, so that's going to be -2 minus 2, that's -4. -4 is less than x. And I like to line up my inequality signs, just like I like to line up my equal signs, so I'll line them up. Okay, so x is greater than -4 then. X is not equal to -4, x is not less than -4. You see x is on the bigger side of that -4. Now to do this one, I could just type in like this, go over here and do it, but I find that's very tricky to do. So I'm going to add, insert. I'm inserting a text box. I'm going to insert the text box over here to begin with. There we go, and then I'll move it down to where I need it. Right, I'm doing x plus 2 is less than or equal to -5. So I want my x on its own. And again, I want to do this in blue, so I'm selecting that, going up here, selecting blue, and I'm doing is less than or equal to, so I'll use the less than sign, and I'm going to underline it. Okay, don't want to underline the rest of this, so I might have to choose it later. 5, yeah, I'm going to have to get rid of that underline, -2. Now this has all gone on the wrong line. Get rid of that underline, so I've selected it. I'm going to get rid of the underline, and I'm going to make this a bit bigger so that it'll fit. And my writing's too big, so I'll make it a bit smaller. Still too big. Oh, no, maybe it's just because that's a capital. It's just a capital. Okay. Now to make this easier for me so I don't have to do the whole trick with the underlining, I just copied it. And now I'm Control V, I'm pasting it. And that's going to be x minus 2 is 3. Okay, so I've got two inequalities here. X is equal to, is less than, -4 is less than x, and x is less than or equal to 3. So going back on the original text box here, I've got some space down below. I can put that together. I want to combine that inequality. This is going to the wrong side. Format. Align. I'm going to do left align. Okay, I want to combine that inequality. So I want to say x is in between what values? I'll put x, and it's in between. I'll put the lower value first, -4, and I'll put the bigger value after, 3. And is x bigger or smaller than -4? I can see the symbol there. They're even in the same order. X is on the bigger side. So -4 is less than x, and x between x and 3, the symbol is saying that 3 is the bigger one. So I'll put that same symbol. I need to underline it though because x is less than or equal to. So I've selected it, I'm underlining it, and I'm just going to make this whole thing bold and big. Where's my size? Where's my size? There's my size. Big and blue. Bold, big, and blue. Okay. So that's my answer, or my inequality. There is no specific value for x. X is just between these values. I wanted to put that over there. Let's have that over. Okay. Now, on the number line, represent the solution to part I. So a number line, where did my number line go? Oops. It's not working out nicely for me. On the number line. Okay, I've lost my number line when I copied this over, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a number line. This is going to be -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it doesn't have to start with 0, but it has to have the values from my inequality on it because those need to show up when I draw this. I'll put this alignment format. Okay, that's easier for you to see now. And then I'm going to draw this, so I'm going to have to do a drawing. I'm going to draw a line in here. And I want to show that x is between -4 and +3, not equal to -4, so I need to insert a shape, and I want it to be an open circle at -4. I'll bet that's going to fill in. Did it fill in? Can't see. I'll right-click it, and I will... How do I do it? Format options. There are definitely limitations here. Here, fill color, transparent. Okay, so it's transparent, and my line color is black, so it's really clear. Okay, now I'll draw a line from -4 up to 3. And I need to put another dot there, but this time my shape, my circle, needs to be colored in because 3 is a possible value for x. So I put a circle on 3, and I'm going to fill it in black so it's really clear. So I've got x is greater than -4 and less than or equal to 3. Now that might have been something that you would want to draw on the page and then take a picture and post it in there. Okay, now I know this is going to be a bit tricky, so this is really a bit of a trial run. Let's see how it goes. Good luck, guys. Let me know if you need help or if you've got any advice for me because I'm really new to this as well.